story, man.
Okay.
I want to know a little bit more about the man behind Chinito. First of all, where are you from? Talk about some interesting.
I never got. It was like with friends or cousins and stuff like that, and but I always liked competitive sports games. So Madden, baseball games, stuff like that.
And not just like sports games. I heard you were quite the baller yourself
And
back in the heyday, basketball.
Still love basketball. My dad was semi-pro in Nicaragua, so everything I know about basketball I learned from him.
I was wondering where that smooth money jump shot that we saw at the NorCal barbecue came from.
He forced me to learn how to shoot right, like form and everything. So eventually I got it down, and it was kind of my thing because I've never had much speed. I've never had like jukes or anything like that. I've always been like I can shoot from a lot of different angles, a lot of different slots. That's my thing.
All right.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yes. That is. I felt like from the beginning, like I would see like cool tech skill and cool like things that other players were doing, but I always felt like, well, that's not why I'm losing, is because I can't do what this guy does, like a perfect pivot, something. But I always felt like if I learned how to space, if I learned how to read my opponents and play the mind games and do all that, then I could get better. And I feel like it's done a lot. Focusing on that and also focusing on matchup knowledge has been like my thing. Okay. It was pretty embarrassing because the whole bar was like yelling and stuff when I got. He would just float above me, and then he would come down and rest me.
That's the people's champ, dude. Jigglypuff.
Oh man,
I can see why everybody was behind her at first, man.
Now I understand, but back then I was like, oh man.
We all have those embarrassing moments.
Yeah,
It's okay. So that is our article writer over here for a lot of Super Smash articles. He does a weekly event kind of recap of the Foundry whenever he's here. So that was your first tournament loss.
First tournament loss. And then my second one was, I just know the character. It was Captain Falcon. Okay. I don't know who the player was. I don't think I saw him again after that. But yeah, first tournament 0-2. And I think I went 0-2 for a couple months. It was a game here and there, and then a set, and then maybe go 1-2 for a few weeks, and 2-2 here and there. And I was just never satisfied with it. It was always like, well, I want to get better than that. I'm not satisfied with where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And so you started this game playing as Mario as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a Mario main for the people at home that do not know this.
Always.
So what drove you to Mario as a character when you first started?
He's always been my favorite Nintendo character.
Yeah.
So starting from the original NES game and all the 2, 3, and all the iterations after that.
Yeah.
I've always loved Mario, and I played him in, like when I played for fun in Melee, it was Mario, and even N64 was Mario. So as soon as I booted up the game, I went straight to Mario, and I didn't even try a different character. That's what I was gonna do with Mario.
Also paid off well because Mario's a pretty good character.
I chose a good character. Yeah, I was happy that ended up being the case because if he was crap, I still would have played him. So it wouldn't have mattered. But definitely has the tools to deal with anything or deal with anyone. So
yeah,
he's great.
So out of all the Mario players in the world, who are the Mario players you first looked to for inspiration?
I started off really heavily watching Ally play.
Yeah. And
then I started really I kind of rotate between who's my favorite at the moment.
Okay.
So from Ally, it is. I think that's what makes watching any character he plays just really fun.
Yeah. So you're telling us how you'd start off this game, you were going, 0-2 in tournament, then you start going 1-2, 2-2, etc., etc. Can you think of like any exact moment where you were like, okay, this is it, I'm starting to level up in this game?
It was shortly after I started working with Parasite from the Big Little program.
Yeah.
He sat down with me at Versus for like about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and he just kind of went as I played him to get kind of an idea of what I think while I play. And the first thing I noticed as soon as I did that was that I started off with a game plan, and I'm talking about, hey, I need to back air, wall him out, do this. And as soon as he started hitting me, my train of thought stopped. and I didn't know what to say anymore. And
Really?
that's when I started realizing this is where I kick into autopilot. Is I get hit and I start panicking, and it takes me maybe half the match to get back into resetting the neutral and thinking again.
Yeah.
And once I kind of started building from there, I started getting a lot better, and a lot less situations were kicking me into autopilot, and I was thinking throughout more of the match.
Sure. So when would you say, like, give us like a month or a time frame of when that was around, the Big Little program kicked in, like last summer, I want to say? Somewhere around there?
But I did this, I think, before G3, so it was somewhere around November.
Okay.
I think it was. It was like the third time the Big Little program had come out.
Sure.
And that's when it really started. I think it was before G3, and I started pushing from there. So it was somewhere around October, November.
Okay. And also, I want to know, you know, what is it that goes through like your daily training regimen, or if you would say daily or weekly or however often you play, like what do you like to practice the most with your character?
I kind of have a routine of where on the off days, which are usually tournament, still working on something because you start to fixate on it, and then you play crappy in all other aspects of the game.
I've heard you like to take notes.
Yeah, I like to take notes.
So I'm not sure if some other viewers at home have heard about this, but you have just, I don't know, skilled viewership that you take towards like your matches, you know? Like you're very critical and analytical of like every single bit of your play.
Is it in this notebook?
Oh,
I wrote it on a separate pad.
Okay.
And that was my first time actually trying that. We were talking about how cool it would be since
play me versus Mr. Q, so I assume that's like an analytical breakdown of another one of your matches, and it just keeps going on and on. So I would say that this is something that a lot of players that are looking to break through that ceiling that they can't seem to break through, this might be like one of the next steps to take, right?
I think so. One of the things that the reason why I would catch myself saying, I wish I knew that matchup. If I knew that matchup better, I probably would have done better.
Sure.
And I started to sound I started kind of irritating myself by saying it, and I started being like, well, you can control this. You can change that. You can learn and be an active
you know, an average tournament goer that's just learning the fundamentals of the game to becoming like a real tournament threat in a way, like to take out like big names and stuff, was like when you first started analyzing matchups, you'd go into our Facebook community and you'd say, hey guys, today I want to talk about like my Mario matchup versus Falco or whatever, right? And you're like, I wanted to know like what some general opinions of other Falcos in our area, and you tag some people in the post and everything. And you'd take first off like a highly critical analysis of your matchup, put it in the post, and then say, you know, what are some arguments against this, or like, you know, what are some other feedback that you could give. So as definitely the first time I started to take notes. So what have you learned most about yourself through this like process?
I mean, I've always been a pretty like once I put my head, that hasn't started yet, but it's for me to start analyzing PR players.
Yeah.
And going there. I just haven't had the time to do it, but that's something next on my list that I want to do.
Which is smart, especially since like those are the guys that you're shooting to take down. Pretty much, you're headhunting those guys to get your own PR spot.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Who are some of the PR players in our region you'd say that you look to for inspiration in your gameplay?
Honestly, I think. Oh, Sean has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things he taught me, and it's very simple, but it's changed up my thinker. They're just asking, how do I get better? Very general questions. You gotta be persistent and specific in what you want to improve on, and they'll help you. And they're very any stigmas you might have towards any interactions with them, and just kind of put yourself out there. Because for me, I was hesitant to put myself out there about my development. And even for a little while, I was doing poorly because I felt like every time, I didn't want to go on stream or anything, because I felt like I'm asking all these questions, and then if I go on stream and I suck, people are going to be like, oh, you're not doing anything right. You're not listening to anyone. But it took just me kind of putting myself out there and be or pull me aside and say, this is what I saw. because I'm listening to everything. I might not be able to implement everything at once, but I'm hearing you.
People want to hear how to get better, but they don't want to hear the critique on their game that necessarily like they take it personally. I don't think it's something you need to take personal.
No,
per se.
I see myself nowadays as like kind of a high mid-level player, and I feel like I'm very aware of where I'm at, and so you're down with like we all get along.
Too, though. You know, you don't want like one person in your crew or whatever that doesn't necessarily see eye to eye, like destroying the whole crew.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my first experience, like, with the 8-Bit boys just hanging out was in Vegas during EVO.
Oh,
and
man.
I'm wondering, is 8-Bit Takeover Vegas, is part 2 going to happen this year?
Yeah, we got 3 rooms already.
3 rooms.
We're ready.
Where are you guys all staying at?
We're staying at Treasure Island because we were late on trying to get the hotel rooms from the venue. Yeah. So we went with a little bit cheaper so that we could, but we're on that same side of the strip.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You could save your money for other Vegas expenses.
Oh, man,
you know what
everything.
I'm saying? Maybe if anybody's out there, any questions that you might have for Chinito or just in general about Smash right now, we could take a 10-minute rapid fire. So during this time, I want to ask you personally, what character are you disappointed did not make it into this Smash Bros?
Not make it in?
Yeah.
I was a Mario main that just wants to get buffed even more, basically. That's all it was.
Hey, man, I mean, Paper Mario would be hilarious, especially if, like, he had spot dodge. He goes, like, completely sideways.
Yeah, they could have had like, a bunch of character with it, man.
Or, like, up B, he turns into the paper airplane and just, like, shoots up in a little shuttle loop or something.
Way better than Bayonetta.
Nintendo.
Stark's one of those players. Like, I'm getting closer, but, yeah, he's just an amazing player. Whether it's Cloud or Ike, it's tough to deal with any of his characters.
Yeah, man. So let the people know back at home, you know, what's your Twitter, everything, anything you could be reached at, anything you want to promote right now?
I mean, my Twitter's Chinito main, and yeah, I don't really have a lot of self-promotion, man. I mean, a lot of my, like, outside of just on the Facebook group sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I want to shout out. Oh, you know what? I want to shout out my girl. The amount of time she's sacrificed for me doing the Smash stuff, she's amazing. Everything she's sacrificed so many days with me. Like, we live together, and there's times where we just don't see each other for like 3 days straight because I go to work, come home, shower, go to a tournament, come back, she's asleep, and there's things like she's been an amazing supporter of this whole process for me. So
that's awesome, man. That's what this shout out portion is for, man. Show that love.
And my crew, of course. Yeah. The best sparring partner ever, Willie, who constantly, Mr. Q, who constantly helps me with every matchup. He can pick up a character and play them solidly enough to where it helps me with the matchup. And the rest of my crew who have